Hi everybody, welcome in this new episode of Juno Live, which we recently used to always showcase some new features, so we will do the same today. But before that, just wanted to say as always that I hope that you are fine, everything goes well, and that you started well this new week. Alright, so I really literally finished releasing like 5 minutes ago, and I'm still testing two things in my apps because I always like do the release, upgrade my apps, and then announce that there is a new version. But yeah, we can try that together today. So there is one major features in this new release, and another a bit, I would say, less complicated to implement. So that first big release is the fact that now when you create a new satellite, or when you have one satellite, you can decide what types of memory will be used for your hosting, like to serve your front end. So let's have a look at that. Yeah, and let's try to do that in production. Alright, so here I go to the console that has been deployed, and we will create a new satellite for today's demo. And you see now here there is a new question: what are you building, websites or application? And if I don't select, that should be a warning, but if I don't select an answer, I cannot go further. So website is a static website, right? And an application is meant for something where you're gonna use the data store or use the authentication, use the storage, and so on and so on. It's not like an issue, like for example, if you pick website and then later you want to transform it, yeah, that's not an issue. You can always go back and forth. But the idea is more like that we introduced that idea that there is some option when you scaffold and use satellites, and yeah, basically that's it. It's important to note that because of those two new options, there is a new mission control, because there is also a new console, because we have to pass the option along, right? So that's why if you already are a developer on Juno, you're gonna be asked to also update your mission control. Anyway, so let's start with website. That would be like the standard behavior as we have now, right? Okay. And while it's doing that, I prepared like a demo. So we will jump into that project lab Juno live. Yes, here, and I'll open that in WebStorm. Right, and I'll zoom to how many rows should I type? Yeah. Alright, so we have created our satellite, so I take the satellite's ID here and I gonna push it there. Right, so if we open here, we have the default satellite, so I will build my application and I will deploy it. And for that I gonna need a login key, so I gonna do a Juno login with a profile called Juno Live. This data, I will destroy it afterwards as always, so I don't encode it. And here You see, I retrieve my profile. So I just gonna take control of this one. Right, and I'm gonna deploy. Okay, so while it's doing that, I spoke about memory. So if you go to the hosting, now you have a new tab here, which is settings. And here you're gonna retrieve that information, which is called hosting memory. And you're gonna have either heap or stable. So heap for website, application, you will have stable. So now we just deploy. Right. So now we are using heap memory. So if I open this one, right, and we're gonna run a test. To get the performance, right? So we have a good app, blah blah blah, with SEO, blah blah blah, and the performance are relatively good. Oh, you see, we have like a first contentful page. So that's super. Now imagine we don't pay attention to if our app is reproducible, and so on and so on, and someday, you know, we have that limit that if we reach 1 giga on heap, then we will start to have issue when we upgrade to the next version and so on. So that's a bit the idea behind introducing the way of stable, is meaning that if we have a large app or we don't want to pay too much attention to the website size, we might want to use stable. So that's why you can create a satellite with stable or application, or you can here switch memory. But to switch memory, because there are some settings behind it, you first have to clear your front end, assuming that's an existing app, right? And when it's cleared, you can switch memory. So what it does, it basically configures the satellites so that now when I will deploy, my app won't be served anymore from heap, but will be served by the stable memory. Okay, and the difference is that when you use stable, every time you request or the browser requests the data, that data must be deserialized from the satellite. So it doesn't take too much time or effort, but it has an impact, and that's the trade-off. So, and that's why I make a test before. So let's have a look. So first of all, it should still work, which is the case, right? So it doesn't change anything. But let's run a lighthouse test too here and see if there is a difference. All right, so before, we had 98, and here we already see that's a little bit less. So first contentful page, you see, like, the total blocking time and this kind of things already goes up a bit, but the largest contentful pane is higher. So if we do it again, maybe there was just a sparkle. All right, So now what we have, something similar, but we have also a bit slower. So let's try to put it back on the heap and see if we got something comparable. So I do the same as before. I go to hosting, settings, switch memory, and I go to heap. Just noticed that the sentence is wrong. Are you sure you want to switch the hosting storage to heap? No, that should be the contrary. I'm gonna fix that. Anyway, so I'm on heap. I deploy again. Alright, and here I go to my, that was this one, right? And here we do a new report. And you see, we got a bit better performance all the time, but we still got large content painful. So yeah, I mean, it will evolve, but I think it's interesting to have this approach where we say, where did I put that? No, maybe I should refresh. Where did I put those information? I have documented it, but I don't find it anymore. No, I'm dumb. Sorry. So it's documented here. Maybe I should put some stuff, but basically, when you scaffold an app, heap it's better because it's faster. So better to deliver content to your user, or for the SEO because speed matters, since speed is one of the criterion for the ranking in Google, I think. Stable is a bit more expensive and a bit slower, as we've seen, but the advantage is that you are not limited to 1 giga of assets. Then it can just grow, because like the overall size was 500 gig or something like that. So if you have a single page application, typically like this one, where you have to log in anywhere where SEO doesn't matter that much, and where your user maybe are fine if half a second slower, then I think it can be interesting, and that's why it's the default for now with application. Right. So yeah, I hope it's clear, and if you have question, just ping me anytime. All right, and beside that, we have a new sign-in option. So more suggested it. That's a good point. So I think it should be documented now. Right. So we can use internet identity on id.ai, which I understand will become the new primary domain. So right now it's just an option, but I guess at some point we will have a breaking change where this will probably becomes the main. But for that, first internet identity should migrate the user and so on and so on. But if you already want to use it, you can. So to do that, let's have a look. So here we have login with internet identity. So let's have two buttons. And here's column flex call, right? Yeah, cap 2. And continue with, I don't know, let's do that. And here we're gonna have like this. And to use that new domain, you just go to the option here and you add id.ai. So here you have the choice of internet computer, which is the default, IC0.app, which I guess is not really used anymore, or id.ai, right? So let's build this, but I guess I don't have to build since I have a pre-hook. Yes, exactly. Alright, so if we go back to our app, and we have now here that continue with ID. So what's maybe interesting first is, you see when I click this, that's the size of the modal that I get, but id.ai has a new look. So what I did is, when you use this one, you see it's narrower. I use that because I felt like the kind of like that kind of mobile-ish display is a bit better. And then yes, I mean it's gonna be a user, so it's gonna be fine. Here I will have error because I don't have created yet the collection, so let's do that. There was a glitch here, which I corrected. Like there was two tables stacked on navigation, there was ugly. So it's good. So here, if we refresh, yeah, see, it works out, right? And yeah, if we have a look, it's what I mean. It's like, I think this would have been a bit, I don't know, like kind of too much information, I don't know. I feel like this is a bit more compact. I mean, preferences. Anyway, you can tweak that in there is probably there is some settings here where you can I think you can provide some window wed, allow pin. I don't remember where I put that. That's a good question. Yeah. Interesting. So here you have the domain, and here you have window wed. It's just true or false. Yeah. So if you need like an option to specify a different size, you can ask. We can tweak it. I mean, right. And yeah. So that's it for those two things. And like I say, you need to upgrade your mission control, satellites, to have the new features. The console was also upgraded, and the rest is a bit more, I would say, less important. Like, for example, I updated a spinner, or there is a new whatever QR code library and this kind of things. doesn't matter at all. Right, so that was short for today, and I have an idea I had an idea this weekend about building a cool new feature for the CLI. So if everything goes well, next Monday we will have a bit more code to play with, and it's gonna be pretty fun. So yeah, ping me anytime if you have questions, and enjoy your week.